So some people may be wondering, like, when it comes to the things that you use every day as a Linux user, what kind of a belt offers the best range of modularity, usage, and probably durability that you can get? And I would have to say it would be a leather belt. So not only is a leather belt, this belt has lasted me over a decade. So it's been around for quite a while, and you can see that it's been quite abused, but it really still holds up. The only reason that I've started to put together a new belt is because I've got this part here that's starting to tear on me, and that's just, when it's ripping apart on you and you're going through the fibers and all that, it's just not quite as nice to have to deal with that. So in essence, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be ricing a fresh belt here. So you can see on this one, I've basically got like the, if it'll focus, come on. Come on. So you've got the barbed wire here, a couple other things, kind of designs, name, label myself. And then in here, it might be kind of harder to see. Kind of right in there where it kind of wears out, like right about here. You can see kind of the end of the wire and where it looks like it's kind of been like mashed up, like there's a hole and stuff digging here. And then it transitions, if we get closer to the end, to like this leaves and bare feet steps all the way down to the end of the belt. So this, like I said, this has been like around for over a decade and has served me pretty well. Kind of sad to have it go, but at the same time, it kind of leaves me a spot to where I can do something cool and new with a new belt and rice a fresh belt. So for those Linux users out there, I've got a fresh empty canvas. I've moved my belt buckle over here and I've added the rivets already to here. So I've basically taken like a strip of leather, 1.5 wide, and added rivets to it to hold it together on the end here. Eventually, over time, this part will kind of stretch out and flatten out, much like this one has. So, yeah. And it'll kind of become more malleable over time, different things. I do have to there's a bead on the end of the belt buckle here that I have to take care of to make sure that it stays on the end there. I've tried to Gorilla Glue it once. I kind of broke the thing, so I'm going to end up re-Gorilla Gluing it so that I can try and keep it on, hopefully. But other than that, so the advantages with a leather belt too is that on the end here, you can see I don't have the notch for the notch on your typical belt buckle, but you've got the option of different belt buckles that you can stick on it and do what you want with it. So you can rice your belt however you want to in leather. The dyes that my family has are have kind of gone bad over the last little while. So I don't have the option of dyeing it like I did with this one right now, because if you look real closely, you can see that the leaves have been dyed a green color, and I don't think I did anything to the footprints really, so I could have darkened those up, but I didn't at the time. Oh, but yeah. So I've already got the basic setup done for the belt. There are a couple of kinks that I have to work out, but other than that, I've got holes, not quite evenly spaced out, but close enough. Rivets in kind of halfway decently. So they do stay. It took me a bit of work to get them to stay in place. But now we get on to the fun part. I've kind of marked where I want the name piece to go. So for those that have never ever worked with leather in their life, if you've been a Boy Scout you've likely done leather work as one of your merit badges, because every time you go to scout camp, it's like one of the noisiest sections is the handicraft section where you do the leather work. And so the first thing you do is you kind of wet it down to soften the leather up a little bit. So this is like one of the oldest scout camp trades in the book. Like probably just about every Boy Scout gets their leatherwork merit badge because it's like the quickest one to get. So we just gotta kind of give it some soaking. We don't like put a sopping wet sponge on it, but like it's wet enough to where we can squeeze out water into the leather and just let it soak in. This is like the joy of leather working with Neff instead of Bob Ross. So a couple mallet options you've got is like the full wood one or a, rawhide one. Rawhide is slightly heavier than the full wood one, so depending on what you want, you can work with that. Then let me line this up very, very carefully. And one option you do have is to take your letters and just smack them right next to each other so you can see how the letters are going to line up and to make sure that they are all straight. And also double check that depending on the letter that they are set up in the right orientation so that you can just pound away to your heart's content. So these also do have the letters on the bottom of the stamps too, to show you which letter it is from the letter as well. So you can see that if I were to hold it slightly off, then what would happen is you'd get this double marking. So holding it down kind of firmly is very important if you want to keep it looking good. Okay, so we've got it in the grooves there. So all we do then from here is go to the next one. We can use that previous stamp to line up our next one. It's been a while since I've really touched leather like this. There we go. Beautiful, nice, lined up. Can't complain too much. And those are our letter pieces. So I do have some other tools off to the side here for our different designs and what all too. So I believe I have pulled everything within arm's reach and within headphone wires reach of where we're at. Let me slap those around here. Yes, I am using my KB Ear KS2s for audio. I think that is deep enough. Okay, so it's not quite straight, but the H and P kind of got off a little bit there. So what we do now, so I've actually got my holster here with me to kind of help me clear. to kind of help me line up where my holster is going to be on the belt. So I can have an idea of where that's going to be because of the theme that I want to put into it. So I am actually just going to slip that on loosely. And so this is actually one of the Alien Gear retention holsters. So basically you'll just slip it in there. It does have a metal plate in it that keeps it kind of solid, but it is somewhat malleable, so I can bend it a little bit, and that adds just enough that it holds my stoger in pretty well. Gotta decide where I want to slip things around. So all I've done is put a pencil mark in where I want the side of the holster to be. So now I can just rip that out. So if we look over here, we can see I've got my pencil mark there. So if I slip the holster on now, it should actually, which is just about perfect. So we can see that it goes on quite nicely, quite right around there. So I can just take that pencil mark, and mark it on the other end there, so I can see my bounds of where it's going to go. And some people may have already figured out what I am doing here. So what I want to figure out is what I'm going to create my dividing line out of. So there are multiple pattern ones. I don't think I quite want to use the curve ones like that though for it. I think there's some very artistic ones. I think I want to go with more of a basket weave border, possibly. Or a wire border. So there's another basic basket weave there. I may just use that's another option. No, not that one. That one is another option. So and then there's the coil barbs for the wire pattern. So those go together like I showed off in the other one. I'm going to toss that one off to the side. This one I would probably more likely use for the basket weave. But I think I like this one better for going up the belt here to mark that. Bottom one there kind of turned out somewhat off, so you can almost see what I'm talking about with the jumping, where it's kind of wider than the others. So this is the joy of leathercraft and how you calm yourself because you get to bang things. We actually have a bit more room than I thought we might have. I don't need you in the cleaning media. Come on, belt buckle. How many? Actually, yeah, that'll be more than enough. That's perfect. So I want to say our center. So what's nice about stamps is they are actually monospaced, pretty much for the most part. Well, yeah, like I said, for the most part. So you can kind of get an even center with it. There are a couple exceptions, like the eye, obviously, but most of them are the same spacing. So, or about the same. So we can probably actually, if we go from that side, we've got how many? Yeah, we've got 2 rows we can put into there. So if we go, we can center our other ones. Let's do these ones first. So we can see our center marking that I put on with a pencil is right up here just about. So what I want to do is I'm going to wet the bottom of it here. Give it some loving soaking. Get back in the hole. I did it deep enough so that I could actually get it in the hole completely. Looks like a janky game developer came in. My D, I'm missing my D. Found it. So now we've got it labeled clearly. so far it may not seem like much, but I now have like space right here to work with and space right there to work with. So I can do some interesting stuff in there, and then I've got like the whole other length of the belt. Then I've got this side over here that I can do some stuff with that I think I'm going to take advantage of the numbers for. Although I might do that around the side here because then it'll keep it all together. Possibly. Actually, yeah, I like that a bit more. Because then I can take the numbers and it's almost like you're picking the equip slot that you've got going based on the hole. So we're going to go in like this. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's almost perfect. So how many stamps we have actually exactly? This definitely gives it that like rudimentary old indie game feel to it, because so now what we can do is we can just go up the line. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Algorithm really seems to like that, and it actually helps it get directly out to more people. And you can even join the chat and interact when I'm not online or what have you in Discord, Guilded, XMPP, and check out my streaming stuff. Links are all in the description places, and I will see you guys later.